75% of medical patients in America choose alternative therapies. Many of them don't tell their doctors about it because they may not approve. But now even doctors see the need for a better way to care for their patients by combining science with the spiritual. News 13's special correspondent Lou Waters explores the power of Johrei.
And then gave this kind of, so-called Johrei, spiritual cleansing. I watched that, I thought it's nothing but hocus pocus.
6 months later, his mother's liver cancer had disappeared. Henry was 19 and convinced. Today, at 72, Henry Ajiki spreads the gospel of Johrei, bringing spiritual science onto equal footing with material science, a kind of marriage to heal the whole person, mind, body, and soul.
A lot of times people will feel warmth when they're receiving Johrei because Johrei is light and the spiritual reflects into the physical. The more that we allow God to come through us, the more effective we are.
A silent transfer of energy from one person to another. But is it healing energy? 2 scientific studies suggest the answer is yes.
Patients in the coronary care unit setting, that randomized prayer had an effect on outcome.
Dr. Alan Hamilton, chairman of the University of Arizona Department of Surgery.
I think that we're ready to let the spiritual issues back into healthcare.
Dr. Hamilton leads a clinical study with money from the National Institutes of Health to examine the effects of prayer on healing of cardiac bypass surgery patients.
We will monitor physiological responses during that time. We're also monitoring radiation levels.
Spiritual science still is considered hocus pocus by many in the medical and religious communities. Doctors washing their hands to prevent the spread of infection was once regarded skeptically, and there now are prominent physicians who are doubtful that prayer works.
And that's very difficult. It's invisible, and so we may never come to a firm resolution that this is the magic pill that you take.
Carol Martin says her illness is relieved by Johrei prayer, enabling her to avoid surgery. She says she feels in charge, no longer prisoner of the healthcare system. She's not alone.
So the American public said, enough. We don't want to have this kind of a healthcare system. We want a healthcare system that is a reflection of what we want, what we need.
In an aging nation with all of its physical and emotional burdens, the government, the medical community, healthcare providers, all are getting the message. There must be a better way.
As we get closer to that cliff, we think there ought to be something more.
Blue Waters for Interesting Times at the Tucson Johrei Fellowship.